Okay, so getting back into the Ultimates, we now pick up with Ultimates 2 Volume 1. Now, let me explain about Ultimates 2 real quick, because when it comes to Ultimates 2, it really was used as a way to show that the Ultimates are going to go in a different direction. Because in the original Ultimate series, the main purpose of the Ultimates was supposed to be used as a superhero team to protect the country, to go after super villains. But the Ultimates were never supposed to be used to go attack other countries who could be enemies against America, who could be trying to attack America down the road. Because here's the thing. Other countries don't have superhero teams. And so if you are talking about the idea of America sending in their own team to go attack other countries, it wouldn't be fair at all. It would make America look like some big bullies. But you had SHIELD, the American government, and also the Ultimates promise that they wouldn't do that at all. That they're only going to be used as a way to protect the country and chase after super villains. But that whole idea gets thrown out the window once we pick up with Steve Rogers in the opening pages of Ultimates 2 number 1, where you have Steve Rogers flying into hostile territory to save 9 hostages who are being held against their will. Now the thing is, these 9 hostages are being held in Iraq. Around this time in Marvel Comics and also the real world, Iraq was enemies with America. And so just like that, we're now seeing America sending in their superhero team to go in to handle different kinds of situations. America is now looking like the big bully to other countries. Now, it's just Steve Rogers. It's not the complete Ultimates team, but the point is, this is just a start. What happens once you have the Ultimates begin to send almost everybody into other countries to handle different kinds of situations? And really, that topic gets brought up very quickly because when it comes to Larry King, in the last Ultimate series, he had interviewed Tony Stark about the idea of the Ultimates because the people of America were really upset when they found out that $25 billion was used on the Ultimates program. Now, once the Ultimates had saved the world, the people of America had begun to love the superhero team. But now you have the people once again questioning the idea of the Ultimates, with them now going into other countries to attack other countries possibly. Now yes, it was Steve Rogers just going into Iraq to save some hostages, but again, that is just a start. What could possibly happen down the road? And it's Tony Stark trying his best to calm down the flames. Now we do jump over to Steve Rogers, and when it comes to Steve Rogers, we get reminded that he is currently dating the Wasp. You see, back in Ultimates Volume 1, the Wasp was brutally beaten by Hank Pym, and so by Volume 2 of Ultimates 1, she left him and got with Steve Rogers. Now here's the thing, Steve Rogers is very upset about the idea that there are different reporters constantly talking bad about the Ultimates, especially the Wasp, because the world knows that she is married to Hank Pym. But it looks really bad that every other day she's walking out to the apartment of Steve Rogers. Now when it comes to Janet, she tells Steve, hey, we're famous. Like, we have to get used to that. It's not always going to be great positive news about us. When it comes to the new world, they're trying their best to find anything that could possibly hurt us, like me dating you. And honestly, she's right, because that kind of talk right there is going to be really important by the end of this chapter. Now, when it comes to Hank Pym, the world knows that Hank Pym had beaten the Wasp. And so because of that, you have Betty Ross, the PR person for the Ultimates, tell Nick Fury that it's probably best to remove Giant Man from the Ultimates because that really hurts the image of the entire team. And so for a long time, you had Hank Pym working on different projects that could possibly allow him to get back on the team. And he has been working on those projects with Bruce Banner. Now remember, Bruce Banner is locked up at the moment because back in Ultimates Volume 1, the dude killed hundreds of people in Manhattan as a way to help out the Ultimates. And I'll explain more of that here in a moment. But you have the two characters working on different kinds of things to possibly help Hank Pym get back onto the Ultimates, a new identity. And this leads into the idea of Ant-Man, because back in Volume 1 and Volume 2, Hank Pym was just Giant Man. That was it. But now we are going to move forward to the next step, Ant-Man. Now, something I do want to talk about is the Ultimate Marvel Universe, like how it was created. Because when it came to Brian Michael Bendis and also Mark Millar, they asked the fans one big question. They said, hey, imagine our world. Now, imagine the idea of heroes appearing in our world. What would that world look like? And so when it came to the Ultimate Marvel Universe, they were trying to answer that question with these different books. And so when it came to characters like Thor, most of the people in the Ultimate Marvel Universe believed that Thor was just some crazy person who believed that he was the god of thunder. But for everyone else, it's not possible for him to be the god of thunder. And when it came to his powers, it was just all tech-based. But also, it was well known in the world that Thor was actually a mental patient, a psych patient. And so to a lot of people, they look at Thor as someone who's just mentally ill. But he truly believes that he is the god of thunder. And really, this next section really shows the possibility that Thor could be mentally ill, because you have Thor going to a nearby diner to talk to Volstagg, who's from Asgard. Now, when it comes to Volstagg, he tells Thor, hey, I got a message for you from your father Odin. He's very worried for you and your new allies because your brother Loki had escaped again, and you know he has the ability to play with reality. Now, when it comes to Thor, he's not worried at all because he truly believes that he should be able to take down Loki. But then out of nowhere, you have a waiter walk up to ask Thor, hey, are you ready to order? Or in the possibility, are you waiting for a friend to show up? And Thor says, a friend to show up? What do you mean? My friend is right here in front of me. But you have the waiter say, dude, there's nobody there. And Thor looks over and realizes that he was just talking to, well, himself. And so now the question is Thor actually mentally ill, or is Loki on Earth right now playing with reality? But now we get into one of the big moments of Ultimates 2. In the first chapter, does a great job of pulling in the fans wanting more. Because right off the bat, we pick up with Steve Rogers and the Wasp hanging out with Gale and Bucky. Now, while on this double date, out of nowhere, you have a bunch of reporters walk up to Steve Rogers and to begin questioning him about the Hulk. Now, let's not forget, back in Ultimates Volume 1, Bruce Banner took a new version of the Hulk serum to show the world that we need the Ultimates as a way to protect the world. Now, when it came to the people of America, they had no idea that Bruce Banner was the Hulk. You had S.H.I.E.L.D. and Betty Ross being able to keep that hush-hush, but to also make the Ultimates look very good. But they knew if the world find out that Bruce Banner was the Hulk, who used to work for S.H.I.E.L.D., and the only reason why he turned into the Hulk as a way to show the world we need the Ultimates as some kind of scheme done by the American government, you're gonna have the people begin to turn their backs on the Ultimates. Well, we come to find out somebody had leaked that information to all the different news stations around the world, or America, and now everyone knows that Bruce Banner was the Hulk. But now we have to shift our focus over to Iron Man, who's right now helping out a new division given to us in this volume of the Ultimates, where we kind of find out that in Europe there was another super soldier program to hopefully enhance different soldiers to fight alongside their army. And we're introduced to Captain Britain, Captain France, and also Captain Spain. There's going to be a few more characters popping up from that division down the road in later chapters, but you have Iron Man going out of his way to use his new Iron Man suit to help them out to get a submarine out from the bottom of the ocean. Now, while doing that, Black Widow is in the main control room listening in on this mission. And we get confirmation that Black Widow and Iron Man are now dating one another. But here's the thing. When it comes to Black Widow, while waiting for Iron Man to return, well, she gets a call from Nick Fury, and he's calling for an emergency meeting. Now we get into the awkward parts of Ultimates 2, and that will be Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch. Now, I did not mention this in Volume 1 nor 2 of Ultimates 1, but I'm going to go ahead and mention it now because it is going to be very important for Ultimates 3, unfortunately. When it comes to Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, they are an incest couple. Yes, you heard that right. Brother and sisters who are in love with one another. But either way, you have those two characters also getting a call from Nick Fury about this very important meeting. Now, when it comes to this important meeting, it's really more of Nick Fury telling us that right now, heads are about to roll because the president is also ticked off because he had no idea that Bruce Banner was the Hulk. But on top of that, now the people of America, they're also upset because they were lied to. They believed the Hulk was just some random guy who popped up one day and you had the Ultimate step in to take him down and the day was saved. They were loved. But now they know that the Hulk was Bruce Banner, who worked for S.H.I.E.L.D., who took a super soldier serum to turn himself into the Hulk. And that whole project is being done by S.H.I.E.L.D., who's also running the Ultimates program. And so right now it looks really bad on the team. And you have the people of America say, Bruce Banner must die. He killed off 800 people in Manhattan. Put him on trial, and yes, he will lose, and yes, it'll be a death sentence, but that is what the people of America wants. Now, here's a big question though. Who told all those different news channels about Bruce Banner being the Hulk? And everyone says it has to be Thor, because Thor is one, not there at the moment, but two, let's not forget, back in Volume 1 of Ultimates, Thor did not want to join the team at all because he was afraid in the idea that Nick Fury could use the Ultimates to attack other countries around the world. And so to Nick and the S.H.I.E.L.D. and the rest of the team, Thor was always trying to ruin the Ultimates program. It has to be him who told the world that Bruce Banner was the Hulk. Now you do have Steve go out of his way to go confront Thor. Now we can't forget that when it comes to Thor, everyone believes that he's mentally ill, that he's not the god of thunder. And so when it comes to Steve, he's all like, hey Thor, I know it was you who told the world that Bruce Banner was the Hulk. But you have Thor say, nah man, it wasn't me. Like, yes, I hate the idea of what the Ultimates are becoming, the idea of going across the world to attack other countries, but it wasn't me who told the world that Bruce was the Hulk, but I do know who did tell the entire world. And you have Steve say, fine, then go ahead and tell me. And Thor says, hey, it was Loki. And you have Steve say, you know what? I'm done. Because I don't believe that you are the god of thunder. And so because of that, I can definitely not believe in the idea that your brother Loki is out there right now trying to ruin us. And so you have Steve walk away. But for Thor, it's kind of like, but you believe in your God when you go to church on Sunday, but you can't believe that I'm a god and I have an evil brother who's out there trying to ruin us. But now it's time for us to check in with Bruce to see how Bruce is doing when it comes to handling all this mess that's out there in the open. And we see that he's currently in a therapy session with Charles Xavier. Now, when it comes to Charles, he is concerned in the idea of how Bruce is feeling. But Bruce tells Charles, I knew that this was coming one day. I knew that sooner or later I was going to die. I knew there was no way out of this. And so even though the world now knows that I am a killer, I'm okay dying for my sins, for my mistakes. And when it comes to Charles, he realized that, yeah, that is how Bruce feels. This is not Bruce trying to lie to Charles. It's Bruce telling the actual truth. And so you have Charles leave to go inform Nick how Bruce is doing. Now, right after Charles leaves, you then have Hank Pym stop by. Now, when it comes to Hank Pym, this is Hank telling Bruce, hey, listen, one, your trial is going to be televised across the world in many different countries. But on top of that, it's going to be in 95 different languages because a lot of people want to see you pay for your crimes. But then you have Hank say, oh, by the way, I'm leaving S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, Bruce can't believe what he just heard. But it's Hank saying, well, listen, I tried to rejoin the Ultimates, but I can't because my past, because I hit my wife. They want a core of people where people, the public, can actually love. But on top of that, I gave my best project over to Nick Fury, which was the Giant Man Serum. And so now I am going to be replaced completely. I will no longer be Giant Man. Now what's going to happen is going to have random S.H.I.E.L.D. agents become giant men. The Ultimates are now being turned into a military team. They are going to be used to attack other countries around the world. They are going to fight alongside with giant men to help win battles in other countries. And when it comes to Bruce, he can't believe what he is hearing. But while you have the two guys talking to one another, it's Nick Fury listening in. And Nick is kind of like, yeah, that's true. Now, he didn't tell Bruce nor Hank that, but it's him kind of showing us, the readers, like, yeah, he's right. I'm trying to turn the Ultimates into a military team. And so then we dive into the trial for Bruce Banner. Now, here's the thing about the trial. You do have Matt Murdock coming out of his way to defend Bruce Banner. But the problem is, this trial is pointless because no matter what Matt says, no matter what evidence he used to help out Bruce, you're going to have the judge and also the jury agree that Bruce Banner must pay. He should be killed off for the crimes that he had committed. And so while you have everyone watching, it's like, this is pointless. Why are we doing this? Go ahead and skip to the point where you say that he is sentenced to death. But while you have everybody watching this trial, we then shift our focus over to Thor, who's doing an interview on live television the same time you have Bruce on trial. And so when it comes to Thor, in this interview, he says, it's very upsetting that my own team members believed that me, Thor, would be the one to tell the world that Bruce Banner was the Hulk. But at the same time though, I feel like this is just smoke and mirrors as a way to distract us because something bigger is coming down the road by S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Ultimates. And once again, it's Thor talking about the idea of the Ultimates being used as a military force to go into other countries to handle different kinds of situations that could possibly affect America down the road. It's Thor feeding into what the people of America are believing once again. But now we jump back over to Bruce Banner. Now, here's the thing. You have Bruce Banner right now just waiting for the word to figure out if he is guilty or innocent, even though he already knows that he's going to be guilty. Now, he is confronted by Betty Ross, and I know I said multiple times in my last two videos, I don't like Betty Ross at all when it comes to her in the Ultimate Marvel universe because she's really toxic. Let me explain. So when it came to Bruce Banner, the first time he turned into the Hulk by this point in the Ultimate Marvel universe was in Ultimate Marvel Team Up #2. Now after that, he was cured and he lost Betty Ross. She wanted nothing to do with him at all. She moved on with her life. Now, like I said earlier, when it came to Bruce taking a new version of the Hulk serum, the first reason was because he wanted to show the world we do need the Ultimates. But there was another reason why. That second reason was because he heard that Betty Ross was on a date. and he was ticked off. And so when he took the serum and turned into the Hulk was going crazy to get Betty Ross back. Now, here's the thing, because after you had the Ultimates be able to take the Hulk down, Betty Ross expressed the idea that now she was back in love with Bruce Banner because he went so far to do some crazy things to get her back. It showed her that she wanted to be with him once again. And for me personally, that's just really toxic like no other. But now she feels guilty because now Bruce is going to die. And she realized that part of the reason why he turned to the Hulk is because of her. And so now she wants Bruce to say, hey, just please tell me you love me. When it comes to Bruce, he can't say that. He can't tell her that he loves her. And so she feels heartbroken. But right after that, you then have Nick Fury arrive. Now, when Nick arrives, it's Nick saying, hey man, listen, I got some news for you. The whole entire case got thrown out. You are a free man. You are good to go. Let's drink. And so you have Nick Fury give Bruce a drink, having him believe that he actually won, that he's actually innocent, until he realized the drink was drugged to knock him out, because now they are going to kill off the Hulk. Now, when it comes to the Ultimates, they realize that the only way to make sure that Bruce Banner actually dies is to throw a nuke at him. It has to be the only way to kill off the Hulk, to kill off Bruce Banner. Now, most of the Ultimates, they're very upset with the idea what they have to do here, but at the same time, they have no choice. He was found guilty for all the crimes that he had committed. He has to pay for his crimes. And so, right when the nuke drops, we see his eyes turn green. But now we jump over to Hank Pym. Now, when it comes to Hank Pym, remember, he told Bruce earlier that S.H.I.E.L.D. was trying to get rid of him completely. And it seems by this point, he's out now. And so you have Hank going back to his apartment where he has a couple missed calls, one for a new apartment, but the other one is a guy from his old department demanding that Hank Pym sends back over the Ultron plans. And you have Hank say, no, there's no way I am going to give them my designs for my Ultron program. But then he gets another call. And when he answers it, it's Bruce, or somebody, it's Bruce obviously, it's Bruce saying, hey Hank, thank you for what you done for me. And it seems like Bruce was able to escape because he turned to the Hulk right when the nuke hit. And so Bruce is out there in the world just hiding. And the question is right now, where? Now, Bruce Banner is gone, yes, but here's the problem. You see, now you have the people of America once again questioning the whole idea of the Ultimates. Because if the Ultimates had lied about Bruce Banner, then what else are they lying about? Are they actually lying about the idea of the Ultimates being used as a military force? You can tell the public, no, we are not going to do that. But in reality, that could be a lie. And then you could use them as a military force. The people of America wants answers. And so now you have different members of the Ultimates going out of their way to do different interviews to kind of say, no, we're just here to help protect the country. That's it. Yes, we can handle small problems. We can also handle big problems, but we are not going to be used as a military force yet. Now, we have to jump over to Black Widow and Iron Man, where we see that Iron Man has gone out of his way to create Black Widow her own iron suit, but also he does ask for her hand in marriage. And she says yes. So now Black Widow and Iron Man are engaged. And this is great. But here's the thing. That iron suit that Iron Man gave to Black Widow is going to be very important in later videos. But now we have to jump over to Italy, where we actually pick up with a protest happening in Rome. Now, this protest is all about the idea that you have different countries in Europe coming together to build their own super soldiers, just like America is doing currently. Now, we already saw Captain Britain, Captain France, Captain Spain, but there are others out there who are part of this whole Europe super soldier program. And the people of Italy do not like the idea that their money is being used for those reasons. Now, when it comes to the protest, it's supposed to be a peaceful one, except you now have the protesters being attacked by the police. Now, Thor steps in because Thor agrees that right now the protesters are protesting the right thing. Why in the world do different countries need super soldiers for? Why are you guys always trying to go to war with one another? And so for Thor, he goes out of his way to attack the police officers to protect the protesters. But now we jump over to the Dome. Now, the Dome is the home base for the European Defensive Initiative team. This is the team that was able to create their own captain. Captain Britain, Captain France, Captain Spain, and the list goes on. Now, the reason why we are going to jump over to the Dome is because you have the Ultimates also arriving at the base as well, because this is going to be a team up. The Ultimates and the European Defensive Initiative team, they're going after Thor for what he did. To these two teams, he is completely in the wrong. But at the same time, we begin to learn the supposed origin for Thor by one character, and his name is Gunnar Goldman. Now, when it comes to Gunnar, he tells us two things. One, he's part of the Norwegian team for the European Defensive Initiative, but also he is the brother of Thor. Now, when it comes to Gunnar, he says, listen, when it comes to us Norwegians, we were trying to create our own super soldiers, but unfortunately, we could not accomplish that goal. And so we went into a different direction. That direction was technology. Give someone some advanced technology that would make them a super soldier. Hence the idea of Thor. Because like I said earlier, most of the heroes on the Ultimates did not believe that Thor was a god. They believed that Thor had some advanced technology. And so when it comes to Gunnar, he confirms that by saying, hey, listen, I created everything that Thor is currently using, because originally I was supposed to give that tech to somebody else, but my brother stole that tech. Now, here's the thing about Thor, because now you have Gunnar saying Thor is mentally ill. He does have something wrong with him. And so I believe because of his illness, it led him to believe that he was the god of thunder. Made him believe that I am Loki, but also made him believe that my tech was his actual armor suit that made him the god of thunder. But either way, it's Nick saying we need the Ultimates and also the EDI to go after Thor to bring him in. Now, you do have the Ultimates and the EDI be able to find Thor very easily, except once they do find Thor, it's now him trying to prove that he is actually innocent. He's all like, hey guys, listen, y'all believe what I want to believe, but I want to tell you guys that you are being tricked by my brother Loki. Matter of fact, the guy at the compound, his name is not Gunnar. His name is Loki. He's playing mind games with y'all. But the problem is the Ultimates in the EDI, they truly believe that Thor is mentally ill. And so you have Steve Rogers tell Thor, nah man, there's no way out of this at all. We all believe that you need some help, and we are here to help you. So go ahead and step down before things get very ugly. Now, when it comes to the final chapter for today's video, we really see Thor going up against the Ultimates. Now, for me personally, this is one heck of a battle, but it also shows that Thor is not playing around here. He's trying to prove that he is innocent. He's trying to prove that the Ultimates are being controlled by Loki in some kind of way. Now you have Thor say, listen, this is what Nick Fury wants as well. He wants to get rid of me because I was the only person who saw the real purpose to Nick's idea when it came to the Ultimates. Once I'm gone, he is going to send you guys over to other countries to attack those countries for standing in his way. But for the Ultimates, they are continuing to ignore Thor. Now, when it comes to Thor, you have the EDI say if you get rid of his belt, he'll be powerless. He will no longer be the most powerful character on the earth. He should be easy to take down. But that's the problem though. They're having a hard time getting to the belt. And so every single time you have one of the Ultimates get close enough, he sends them flying back the other direction. Now, it all comes down to Quicksilver though, because let's not forget, Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch are part of the Ultimates, even though they haven't done anything at all in 3 volumes. But this is a big moment for Quicksilver, because while the rest of the Ultimates in the EDI are getting their butt whooped, you didn't have the Scarlet Witch go over to her brother and say, hey, you have to try one more time. You have to get rid of Thor. Get rid of that belt. All because he hit me. And like I said earlier, the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, well, they are they're a couple. Yeah, that's weird. But either way, because his sister was hit, he gets so angry, he runs full speed and being able to grab the belt, take it away from Thor. And just like that, Thor is no longer powered anymore. He is powerless. And now they can take him in. After you have Thor get locked up by the Ultimates, he's then confronted by Gunnar. But this is the moment where we get confirmation that Gunnar is Loki. Now, when it comes to Loki, he tells Thor, hey, listen, man, it was me who turned the Ultimates against you because, you know, we play this game over and over and over again. And every single time you do find a way to stop me, but I really want to see how you're going to stop me this time. Now, when it comes to Loki, he tells Thor, oh, by the way, when it comes to the Hulk, I didn't tell the world that Bruce Banner was the Hulk. Matter of fact, it was somebody else. Really, let me bring you in on a secret. Somebody on your team, the Ultimates, is actually a traitor. And then you have Loki walk away. Now, here's the thing. Loki was able to use his abilities to hide from the cameras. And so again, it does look like that Thor is just talking to himself. But in reality, he was talking to Loki. But now we have to shift our focus over to Nick Fury. And you have Nick Fury meeting up with the Ultimates, some members of the Ultimates. Now, like I have been saying in this entire video, you had the public wondering, would the Ultimates begin to be used as a military force? But you had the Ultimates tell everyone, no, we are a superhero team only to be used to handle small problems in our country, to go after super villains. But you have Nick tell the Ultimates, hey, we got trouble in the Middle East. And so that means the Ultimates are now about to be used as a military force. But with that being said, this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. Also, if you have any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.